Hey guys, in this video we'll discuss about Kant's philosophy chapter 7. The title of the chapter is Indispositions and we are all familiar with this word indispositions. It is first used in organon, aphorism, footnote to aphorism 7. So it can be asked in your exams as a short note where you have to describe based upon the indispositions footnote to aphorism 7. Or it can be asked as in define indisposition in Kant's point of view. In that you have to describe based upon this chapter 7 of Kant's philosophy. So let's discuss what is indispositions. In this chapter, Kant has given explanations about what is indisposition, what are their causes, means what cause indispositions, and how to treat them. How as a homeopath we have to treat indispositions. As a physician we have to treat indispositions. And yes, it is based upon the footnote to aphorism 7, the indispositions. Let's go ahead. So every instance where Hahnemann speaks of true sickness, he speaks of it as a miasmatic disease. But here he employs another word, that is indisposition. So if you go through the organon aphorisms, go through the organon descriptions, you will know that Hahnemann spoken of the true sickness means the true miasmatic disease. The true sickness, true miasmatic diseases and everything, the word, but here he used another word, that is indisposition. Here he is not saying about the true miasmatic diseases, he is saying about the indispositions. So there are apparent diseases which are not diseases. So there are some diseases, apparent means always without, means some symptoms, you will have some external type of diseases which are not actually true diseases or true miasmatic diseases. So behind those diseases there is no miasm is responsible, but there is some disturbed state. So that's why we have to call those as some kind of diseases, because we all know till now about the definition of disease that there is some disturbed states and that is manifest through sign and symptoms, and we called it as disease. But here there is disturbed states, there is some sign and symptoms, but it is not true natural disease or true miasmatic disease. It's just a mild disturbed states that we called indispositions. So the difference, if you think about the difference between true miasmatic disease and the indispositions, is indispositions has some external causes, or there is some apparent cause, means some external causes due to which there is some disturbed state, and that is some sign and symptoms, and that we called indispositions. But if we think about or talk about true miasmatic disease, then there is a miasm behind, there is some interior cause that happened from interior. The disorder happened from interior, means either acute miasm or chronic miasm. So here Kant said a psoric individual has his periods of indispositions from external causes. As I mentioned that indispositions are from external causes. So a psoric individual means in chapter 5 we read about a short description about Sora, and Sora is the contagion of all, is the king of contagion. So we all are psoric individual, because in chapter 5 of Kant's philosophy, Kant has given what is the actual definition according to Hahnemann about the Sora. I hope that you all have remembered, or if you don't, then go to your book and read about that, or if you prepared any notes, then go to that. So what is Sora? Sora corresponds to a state of an individual. That state of individual means a state of us where we have disordered our economy. In so disordered our economy means just having the bad eating habits, bad sleeping schedule, living bad lifestyle. We have just disordered our economy that we are so susceptible to a little influence, little influence, environmental influence, like a little thing happened, a little weather change happened, we are having some symptoms, we have disordered our stomach, or we have disordered our we are having some cold, cough or anything. So psoric individual means we all are now having psora within us. So that's why Kent mentioned a psoric individual means a individual has his periods of indispositions, he will be affected by external causes, because from the definition the psora is a state that the man has so disordered his economy that a little influence will affect him. So we all have our periods of indispositions from external causes, but these external causes do not inflict psora upon him. So do not think that due to these external causes this person is suffering from psoric miasm. No, these are the psora or the miasm is already present in that individual, but due to that it just arose from some external cause and showing some indispositions. But that doesn't mean that due to this he is having the psoric miasm or anything, or any miasm. So indispositions from external causes mimic the miasms. Of course, there is some group of symptoms. If there is indisposition, if there is some disordered state, then it will manifest itself through some sign and symptoms, and we get some group of symptoms, and this group of symptoms we think that will match up with some miasmatic condition. If this person is suffering from this kind of acute miasm, he will have some symptoms. So now if he is suffering from some indisposition, there also he will have some symptom. So that means it mimic the miasms. Indispositions symptoms are mimic the miasmatic manifestation. But in miasmatic manifestation, if we just remove that external cause, the patient will not restore to health. But in indispositions, if we remove that external cause that just caused this disordered state, then the patient will restore to health by just removing that external cause. So that is the difference between indispositions and miasmatic manifestation. So in sometimes in Viva exams, external will ask you that what is the difference between indisposition and the miasmatic manifestation, how you will differentiate. So you have to tell that first thing, the indispositions are due to external causes and there is no miasmatic cause behind it. True natural disease it is not, and indispositions have some symptoms, and also miasmatic manifestation has some symptoms. It can mimic those miasms, but in miasmatic condition, if we remove that external cause, the patient will not get better, not restore to health. But in indispositions, if we remove that external cause, the patient will restore to health. So that is the difference between indisposition and miasmatic manifestation or true miasmatic disease that you have.